Cambridge City Council now be in session. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Conaway.
Here.
Evancho.
Here.
Loffman.
Here.
Leonard.
Here.
Marlin.
Here.
McMillan. Here. Wolverton.
Here.
Reading of the minutes, Mr. Marlin.
I make a motion we dispense with the reading of the minutes and place on file.
Mr. Wolverton.
I second that motion.
All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, and that motion is granted. Mayor's report. Mayor Orr.
Good evening, Council. It's good to see everybody on a nice snowy day in the middle of spring. But we're working on a few things out there. I have a couple items for you in front of me. Number one, Kim Conrath request to appropriate $21,973.42 to services by contract. And number two, Chief Delancey request to appropriate $8,366.42 to equipment.
Both of those items will be sent to the Finance Committee.
And I've got a couple short things here, just a reminder to the public. Electric meters are still ongoing from AEP. They're going out. I think they got most of them, but they still have, you might see the little truck with the guy, the yellow vest running through there. But again, that's about 6,000 meters out there. It's gone pretty smooth so far. Just in case you was wondering, I don't think we have a downtown coordinator yet. I have talked to a couple of them from the group. I know they're ongoing interviews, but as soon as I know, I'll tell you, and if you know, you can tell me. But so far, we're still looking for that. Spring cleanup, I don't know about you guys, but every day I drive one block or another, and I'm like, when's spring cleanup come? But anyhow, that's 11th and 12th. And then it sounds kind of trashy to talk about it, but I have to talk about trash. We are facing, I've been at this a while, chasing certain things. A common trash can seems to be getting more rare. We have the idea where we just set them out in trash bags at the end of the road. If the raccoons get in it, that's fine. If it blows across the street, that's fine. In fact, the longer you leave it out, it's a decoration. I don't really know what we're trying to accomplish. But I want you people, along with myself, again, starting fresh, we're going to forget what we've done already. Let's write it down, the address, call it in. We're going to start from the beginning again. We got some hoarders on the outside with trash bags. I can take you to 2 locations in the last week. At least 30 bags packed up against the house. And the reason why I bring this up, I've had talks with the health department, and we're all stretched thin on manpower and able to referee daily activity sometimes, but rats, rodents, we can't have this. We can't have it. People say to me, well, Mayor, just put them in court. Well, we can't. You give them a ticket, you tell them, and it disappears for 3 days, and what dumpster where it went, no one knows. Hopefully not some of these other places, but the next week we're back at it again. It's a nip, and by our code, we have the right to issue a 2 or 7 day notice. But what happens in the 7 days when you're that neighbor person? Now, hypothetically, a mayor could bid a town out for trash hauling service for 1 server, but I truly try to let people, if they want to only have 2 bags taken from their house and pay per bag, I want a small business person to be able to do that. I don't want to run the other 2, 3 places out of town. Although, these are things, and the reason I throw this out openly tonight, it's our problem. It's not just mine or just yours or, we're getting ready for spring cleanup. It's still early. The weather's been kind of goofy. I'm trying to be tolerant. We've got 4 or 5 people I know that got notices last week. I saw 2 more today. And we've got just normal weekly trash service. Your pick. Pick how you want to do it. But and I don't know how we're going to have, eventually somebody's going to have to tweak the ordinance or tweak. I've got Sharon looking in some things with the clerks from other towns. I've got Kim calling, and we're going to talk to Judge Liston a little bit. Because truthfully, we, the administration, do not want to send people to court. We just don't. live and let live, we're good with that. But when it spills over into other people's yards and houses and truthfully garages, we got a free garage tear down program for the really bad stuff. We will help. We want to help. And no, you can't just go on the 11th and 12th and dump a dump truck full of trash and then start all over again and build it to fall cleanup, which I think we've got a little of that going on out there. If you can't tell, that's been bothering me for a while, and I'm sorry to occupy your time with something most mundane as trash. It is what it is. And just a tidbit, we've got a date timeline on Hall's Drive-In. The owner's supposed to be moving stuff out of there.
The things.
Sprinting has never been one of his strong suits, but we're going to see. I know. So anyhow, I'll give you a date on that if you want to talk to me privately, but I don't want to put that across here because you know how that works. But anyhow, any questions, anybody?
Any questions of the men this evening?
I know.
Yeah, Mr.
I know, especially on the trash issue, I'm getting an abundant amount of calls on different trashes right now in Fairdale area, A Street, Gomber, different areas in town, and I'm trying to work with Kim, with the letters and things like that to get some things out, but we do need to take a look at whatever we're doing, ordinance-wise or whatever, and see if we can come up with a better plan, because a lot of these are reoccurring properties that we're having, and we're just
Absolutely.
we're not making headway on these things. And
Well, on the one hand, you think we're making
frustrating.
headway, but it's developed into this eeny, meeny, miny, mo type thing. You're just constantly chasing. If the cities, and I'm throwing this out there, if a city takes over trash hauling, puts it on the water bill or whatever goes on, number one, you bid that out, and you inherit a major responsibility that drives up cost. And one thing our citizens have always told me, and I don't know about the town you guys have grown up in, they don't like being dictated to that. We're trying to let them pick, and there's a way to do this stuff and load that stuff up. And it's not all landlords, although there's a lot of that going on too. But I mean, it used to be if something junk was in your yard, they'd go pick it up and move it to the porch or something like that. Anymore, there it is. I mean, I don't know if they think it's a monument or what we got going on.
yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Marlin?
I know Kim and you have said on the cleanup day, you made the comment about the trash, bringing that. When are we going to stop accepting that trash for those 2 days? Because that's not the remedy.
No.
That's why you have all this 30 bags on somebody's front porch, because they're waiting for that day. That's like Christmas. Okay, I'm going to take all my stuff down to the city. We need to stop that.
Well,
We're enabling these people to do this kind of thing. You know that as well as I do. And until we take a stand on it, they're going to take that stuff down there. And there's people volunteering their time to handle their trash, and I think that's a disservice.
you know what we might do this year? We've seen a little bit more of that, no question about that each year. Let's just say for one out of 10 the first year, 3 out of 10 the next year, and 5 out of 10 last year. We could maybe do like we do with the tires. We'll just mark what we see coming through there this year and get a good look at something like that and get an idea. I really don't think, for the most part, a lot of the bags of trash are not the one. You couldn't hold it that long. They'd eventually get overrun in their own residence, which sometimes.
I've unloaded a lot of those trucks, Tom, and so have you, and you know as well as I do.
No, there's some.
I'm telling you the truth.
She's right. Yeah. Same time, I just want things as cleaned up as they can possibly be.
I know.
If I learned in the township, if you leave it unattended totally then it ends up on some country road somewhere.
That's true.
Mr. Wolverton?
Since we're talking about trash, I'd like to bring up about the recycling program. I know that basically everybody knows now where it's at, and I was kind of wondering how that was going as far as,
Truthfully,
it's of it.
they don't like where it's at.
Well, because they're being monitored.
Yeah.
See, now they can't just throw whatever they want to in
Well,
there.
but it's going okay. We still have an episode of stupidity once in a while, but nowhere near what we did before. But from time to time, it gets locked up over the weekend because that has to be somewhat of a secure area. Sure. So we're not totally satisfied with where that's at, but it's the best place for now. We're still studying our options. This is another thing. our town, because of numbers, recycling cost-wise times the haulers, we've had those discussions with some of those businesses. The numbers don't play out very well. And not being mean, folks, whether we like to hear it or not, as much as 30% aren't going to play team ball out there. And so let's say we implement a program like that and they decide to give it the big, so we're still at that basic stupidity. So
Yeah.
we're just going to, again, please give me the names and numbers, stay tuned. Not be mean, it's just the cycle we're in. The weather's going to break, things are going to tighten up, people's going to come outside a little bit more, eyes are going to go on some things, people are going to feel the heat to do something. What that something is yet to be determined. And then grass mowing kicks in and our mower people get out behind buildings. When we do a drive-by, you don't necessarily see everything eyeballs, but I've had some different people call in and people are hoarding stuff in buildings. And eventually it gets up past the window or out past the door. They can't shut the door or the wild animal gets in it. Or the stench comes across and bangs the neighbor next door. So I want to be as aware as we can be. So,
All right, any other questions of the mayor? Thanks, sir.
thanks, President.
Thank you.
We'll go to communications.
The only thing I have under communications tonight is the monthly report from the auditor and the treasurer.
Mr. Loffman,
Motion to accept and place on file.
Ms. McMillan.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That motion is granted. Reports of committees.
Report of Finance Committee, April the 2nd, we recommend that there be $425,000 transferred from USDA loan building purchase line item to computer-related items purchase line item.
Any questions of the committee on that report? Okay, we'll go to unfinished business. Anybody? Okay, audience portion. Anybody in the audience? Mrs. Marlin, would you like to say something tonight? Okay. All right, we'll go to new business. Anything under new business? We'll go to ordinances and resolutions.
An ordinance of transfers and appropriations.
Mr. Loffman,
Motion to suspend.
Mr. Conaway.
Second the motion.
Roll call on the suspension, please.
Loffman.
Yes.
Conaway.
Yes.
Leonard.
Yes.
Evancho.
Yes.
Wolverton.
Yes.
Marlin.
Yes.
McMillan.
Yes.
Mr. Vancho,
Motion to pass.
Mr. Marlin.
Second to pass.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Conaway.
Yes.
Leonard.
Yes.
Loffman.
Yes.
McMillan.
Yes.
Marlin.
Yes.
Wolverton.
Yes.
Evancho.
Yes.
And that ordinance is declared adopted. Miscellaneous, Mr. Vancho.
Yes, the Finance Committee will meet next Monday, April 16th, at 4:30.
Okay, anybody else? Mr. Marlin?
I think all the elected officials up here had gotten a letter in their mailbox from the Prosecuting Attorney's Victim Advocate Program. They have invited all of you to come on April 19th, 2018, from 5:30 to 9 p.m. This event is a victim awareness program on the courthouse lawn, followed by a safety resource fair at the Cambridge City Park Armory. And those are, that are able to walk from the courthouse to the City Park Armory are more than welcome. And I do believe the theme of this is walk a mile in their shoes. So, of course, my wife is the advocate there, and so I was told to read this. So hopefully you all can support that. That's from Joel Blue's office, County Prosecuting Attorney, and that is on April 19th, 5:30 to 9. I believe all the judges are going to be there. So I think this would be a good thing for us to support. And with saying that, I make a motion.
Well, not yet. We've got
Okay.
other people tonight.
I get a little in.
I just to follow up on what Councilman Marlin had said, I had also emailed that invitation to all of you last week, along with an invitation from the Guernsey County Senior Center. So if you would just check your email and then just let me know if you plan to attend any of those so that I can RSVP to you. And then also, I did not know until today, because sometimes I don't always know wives' maiden names and whatnot, but I want to express my condolences to Councilman Marlin's wife, Lori, on the loss of her mother over the weekend, and so thoughts and prayers are with you, my dear. I know what you're going through.
Ms. McMillan?
Yeah, I just have a little ditty here I'd like to. I want to thank Superintendent Kaufman for coming into our last meeting and providing us information concerning the upcoming school district levy, Cambridge School District levy on the May 8th ballot. You know, I don't have any children or grandchildren in the Cambridge City School District, but I do consider myself a vested member of this community. And for that reason, I am supporting and voting yes for the levy. The Cambridge School District has taken huge financial cuts from the state over the last several years and have received no new money into the district for the last 26 years. I encourage the voters to educate themselves with information and facts surrounding the levy before they head to the polls. We, as a community, must invest in our educational system and in the kids in our community. We must bring our educational system up to the standards that our kids deserve. So please join me in voting yes for our kids, for our school, and our community, and vote yes for the Cambridge City School District operating levy on May 8th.
Thank you. Anybody else under miscellaneous? If not, Mr. Marlin?
I want to thank our clerk for making mention of that. It has been a rough week, and prayers and thoughts have always been welcome at our house. So with saying that, I make a motion, we adjourn.
We are adjourned.